you doing? You guys ready to come on in?
Yes.
Come on in. Come on.
We got a good one today. I'm looking forward to this talk.
We guys just gonna be
Canton.
chatting and
yes,
and chatting and talking, and I'm into a puzzle right now.
Yeah, well, we can't do the puzzle while we're on.
Well, that's Jude. Hi, Jude. Jude Cherry. Is that how you say that? And Mr. Rogers. Hi. How are you? Hi, Shami. Good to see you. And we're just getting ready to have our guest today. It's good to see everybody. It really, really is. What is that? DT Bars.
You see people?
I see people's names. I don't know if I'm saying their names right though, but I'm happy to see them.
I know you're seeing
that Jude, Jude Cherry.
Hey, hello.
Jimmy Block. Is that Jimmy and Bach?
Maybe just say hi.
Hi. I'm trying to say hi, but I like to shout them out and say their names. Oh, Canton's here. Hooray, hooray. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to talk to him.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. To see him and to start chatting. Can't wait to start chatting. Hey,
What up? What up? Yeah, so I want to get it. I want to get in the car so like I could, be like y'all.
We do this thing. That's how we do it.
I ain't mad at you there. How are you doing? It has been a long time.
It has. It's been a real long time, like too long.
It's been too long.
Yes.
It's been too long. We should have been talking a long time ago. I'm glad you did my friend Rick's show last week. He says he's going to do some more shows, and they'll be getting better and better. So you were in Atlanta last week doing a concert, and so
yeah, it was awesome.
Like I said,
well, hopefully that'll continue, but because of situations, a lot of stuff is canceling, and we'll see how it goes forward.
That was Byron Cage, Pastor E. Dewey Smith, Dorinda Clark Cole, B. Chase Shabbat. So it was a real good show, and people came out and enjoyed themselves. So it was real good.
I heard
Great
you guys had to do that social distancing with the seats and stuff.
The audience, yes.
Yeah, but you know how we just scoot the seats over. You know what I'm saying? They just moved the seats over. It was all right, but not really a lot of social distancing.
It was what it was.
Tell the truth.
Well, I have some things that usually right, but I want to say this from the heart. I want to let you know who this great man is that we have here, Canton Jones. He is, first of all, a 2-time Grammy-nominated artist. He's a pastor. He's an incredible businessman and one of the best friends you could ever have. This man and his family has been incredible to our family. When he got his big, large home, he took me around the home and he said, "And Auntie, this is where you can stay when you come in." I mean, we have to respect Canton as a great pioneer that he is. With rappers being faith-based, it wouldn't be what it is without Canton Jones, who's been at it so long.
Wow.
I first met him, I guess, at Arrow, and then we were able to actually work together through Central South and some really great songs. He's a man from Florida. I had the privilege of meeting his mom and talking with her before she passed on, and just getting to really know the family. I'm giving you all this history just to let you know how much I really love this young man and always want to see the very best for him. You also remember that he did that, what is it, Preachers of Atlanta?
Yeah.
He did the Preachers of Atlanta and so many other things. I want you all to please welcome none other than Canton Jones.
Yes.
So, I mean, how's it feeling now? You're not doing as much of the music as you are the pastoring right now. So, tell me about all that and how that's going.
Wow. One of the biggest transitions is to really be a pastor, and you can't be in the studio as much. You can't write as much. You can't spend, the music life is like a nightlife. So
Yeah.
really, when everybody's going to bed, we're starting, but you can't really do that when you have business meetings and different things. You have to preach in the morning or what have you. And so it's been a huge adjustment. One of the biggest adjustments is while growing the church, I'm growing my family. And so you gotta get up. I want to make sure that I pray. I have this thing about kissing their foreheads every night, so I want to make sure that I do that as much as possible. And then when they get up,
Yes.
I want to pray over them. So I can't spend that time at night because I have a personal responsibility uh, to my family first, then the church. And
Yeah.
so
Yes.
it's been a huge adjustment. My oldest is now 16. Love is
I can't
16.
believe that. Love you is.
16.
I've known her since she was a little girl.
Yeah, and
And now
and you
she's
haven't
60.
you haven't met I don't know if you met any of my boys, but
I met
Was it?
one
Dominion.
of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Dominion. He's a
Dominion, right.
rapper. He's 12. He's called himself Sky Blue. So he's a rapper now. He produces, and he dropped a record, an album on October 29th, and
What?
then dropped another 5 songs last month, and then dropped a single like
Oh,
like 2 weeks ago. Like, so he's dropping, like, he dropped more music than me,
he's
and then
12?
he's
He's
12.
12.
He's producing. He works Logic. He does everything. I'm teaching him how to do his own graphics. I have a 9-year-old. His name is Canton. He calls himself Promised Land, and he just dropped a single 2 weeks ago. So they're
I
working
can't
Logic.
believe.
Yeah,
Sky
yeah.
Blue and Promised Land.
And they so cute. And then I have a 6-year-old. So with being a father,
That's
I you can kind of see people who do not take that serious,
Yeah.
or take their career and their ministry more seriously than they do their
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 family.
family. And I
Yeah.
just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do
Yeah.
it. So some people may say Canton Jones fell off. No, I fell into my family. And I want it to
Yeah.
be a real. I don't want to be a public success and a private failure. And so
Yeah.
I took those opportunities. It was certain times where I had opportunities to do certain things, and I was like, man, I can't be away from my family that long.
Yeah.
And those are the decisions that you have to make when you're transitioning. So not only church but family. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Some
That's
quality
really beautiful.
decisions.
But we do want to see you get back into it a little bit. But I understand. And you have 3 boys and 1 girl, right?
Three boys, 1 girl. My daughter's 16. My son's 12. Then I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. My 6-year-old is gonna be about 6'10". Like, he's gonna be very
What?
tall. He's gonna be tall. I'm speaking it over him, but he is
Okay,
super
amen.
tall.
That's a basketball bro.
Somebody got to go to the league. Somebody's got to go to the
You
league.
gotta do that.
Somebody.
Okay. You
gotta
don't make
cover
me
it.
just break into it, but
Somebody.
I know you're a basketball fan and
I am.
what happened to Atlanta?
man.
Atlanta. Wait. Well, okay. So I'm from Florida, so I'm everything Florida. But
Oh, okay.
Atlanta did very well this year. Actually, they did very well. I was very impressed with Trey. You know what? If it wasn't for that mishap with the referee when Trey twisted his ankle, they could have been in the finals.
You think?
They could have
Yeah,
been
they
in the finals.
could have
Yeah.
been. Like this,
Yeah,
it
but
could
I
have
mean,
been, would have been, had to been. All
Well,
that
you know,
been.
we got the Lakers and
Yeah,
then we got
see-
the Warriors.
Just take the scoreboard, man.
But when my man went down, when the brow went down
Yeah.
with you guys, that was y'all championship hopes right there. So
That's
that was
it.
it. So injuries kind of plagued
That's what we're
everybody.
talking about.
That's what we're talking about. The game of basketball is all about who's got injuries. You
Yeah.
can set everything up, and I don't care how great that team is.
Yeah.
Look at what happened to the Warriors,
Yeah.
with Steph Curry and Thompson.
So
But
who
Steph,
can you feel?
but Steph was still entertaining enough to
That's
get
right.
another $200 million
Thank you.
contract
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
without any help. He was just shooting, putting on a show, because at the end of the day, it's still a show. And he was putting on a real show.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right.
Man
You're
is
right about that.
is the only man to get $200 million contracts.
Thank you.
You know, and every time he hit that shot, he give glory to God, and that's why I feel like he's gonna get another $200 million.
Probably.
Right.
I mean, yeah, he's a man of God for sure. There's no doubt about that. He and his wife, they're from the Carolinas, but they're in my hometown where I was born, and I was born and raised in San Mateo, which is in the San Francisco area. Yeah, the Bay Area. So my parents are, you know, Steph Curry is everything.
It's Dub Nation.
But you know, I want to talk a little bit about like when I first met you and this whole rap thing. I know, and I want to talk a little bit about the controversy of some people calling what you guys do gospel rap, and a lot of rappers saying, no, we're rappers that just happen to be Christian. How do you feel about that there?
Well, I mean, depending on where you come from, the derivative of gospel rap comes from gospel music. The derivative of CHH comes from Christian music, and you know the difference between CCM and the difference between CCM and gospel is simply black and white. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about contracts. I'm talking about the color of your skin. And so gospel rappers tend to skew towards more African American, I guess, culture. And then CCM, even though the rappers are black, may skew to more of a Christian or a Caucasian dynamic.
Did Lecrae just come on?
Here's my mother.
Lecrae
Y'all say what's up?
just came on.
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah. No, you good.
I just wanted to know if you wanted a Subway sandwich.
Yes.
Are you coming in?
I'm coming. No, I'm coming in. Yeah.
Feed the brother.
Yeah. She got some menu items. So that's just my opinion. So when it comes to
Lecrae's on. He just said
what up?
He's
I can't see him.
Yeah.
That and that's the truth. So when you come down to a person that's Christian, that's a rapper, all of that type of stuff, it's like, man, just do your thing. And I understand where they're coming from. I mean, you can't be any type of gospel or Christian type of worker. You know what I'm saying? Let's say if you work at Subway, you make sandwich. You're not a Christian sandwich maker. You know,
right?
You just represent the kingdom in what you do. And so I think sometimes when people keep having this argument of their identity, sometimes they, I question if you're embarrassed about it. Just do you. Like, just do your music and do you. Because a lot of people are going to call you what they want to call you. They're going to put you in a category. They put me in gospel music, and I don't, it was like, I'm like, all right, if that's what y'all see when you hear me, okay, that's cool, that's fine. And then some people say he's a rapper. Like, okay, if that's what you see when you hear me, that's fine. Some people say he don't rap, he does praise and worship. You know, if you heard me at church at certain times, he does praise and worship. So based off your perspective, then you kind of call me what you want. I just do music. I do what I feel. I don't get caught. Right. So like sometimes I might do whatever I feel. It might be a worship song. It might be me singing. It might be whatever. So it just depends. I just hate getting caught up in the box, because the scriptures say all of these trees you can eat of, just don't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And I tell people the dumbed down version of that is just do your thing, just don't do it without God. And so,
right.
And so people who want to, pigeonhole themselves or say, well, man, I'm not a Christian rapper. I'm a rapper that's Christian. I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't care about that.
You say whatever.
Really, at the end of the day, it's like, how does the music sound and how does it make me feel when I hear it? Do I feel empowered? Yeah, that's all I want to hear. Because Kanye, his last record, he doesn't call himself a Christian rapper or a rapper that's Christian or whatever. No. He calls himself, man, I don't know what he calls himself, just a plain rapper. But that record ministered to me. It ministered to me. It really was a great record, and I can hear the details of it. And so that's just my opinion of, man, is it hot? Is it hot?
Right.
And are you representing what you say you're representing? You know, I know what to get
Yeah.
when I turn your music on, and that's kind of it right there.
That's key. Yeah.
That's real important. I was chatting with you a little bit about. I saw just a few minutes of it with Jada Kiss, lots of the versus battle, and what's that other child's name?
The Diplomats, the Dipset.
The Dipset. And I think the thing that was trending overall, because I couldn't understand what they were doing. I thought they were getting ready to do fight on stage. I was like, oh my Lord.
That's New York though.
And everybody was excited, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't pull out guns. But I'm telling you, there's like 100 people on stage for versus. They were at the Madison Square Garden, and it really scared me. So I figure it's not for me. But the one thing that Jadakiss said that I thought was very important was that he was concerned about how he was rapping. He was actually flowing in a versus battle with real rap, and Dipset's people were
rapping over the music.
They were rapping over the music, and people were saying that was fake, and he was saying this is rap. You can't do that. But then I talked to you about it a little bit, and you had a kind of a different perspective from where you.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, for me, like when if I'm singing over one of my songs, then I'll take the track out. But if I'm rapping over my track, because most of the times, you know, when I go places, the sound system is not all that. So sometimes you won't hear the vocal at all, or the music is louder. So we do that, or I do that, so that the people can hear what is being said.
Exactly.
The other thing, you know, the other thing about it is, if you notice, man, that our genre of music, when it comes to hip hop, is the only one that battle. Country don't battle country like that. Pop don't battle. You know, it's just us. It's like they always want to see us at each other's necks, some Django type stuff. You know, and I'm like, you know, bro, you know, so I like the other way that, you know, some of the artists did it, where they were together. They just was playing music, and so I guess if the rules have changed to it, then yeah, you're supposed to do it live and make it a concert. But for the most part, most times on verses, they just playing records, and they might rap over top of them. One of the bigger ones that I saw was Jeezy and Gucci Man, and they was rapping over their stuff. But you want to talk about feeling uncomfortable, like somebody
That's
was
what I
getting
told
ready
my
to die.
mom.
Like
that's what I said. That Atlanta.
like I felt like somebody was gonna get killed at the Gucci
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
and then at the end, at the end, it was like, bro, we got to be an example to these youngins out here, bro.
Exactly.
You know, and they ended off on some real G type, peace type something. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a moment, you know. And anybody can say, man, it's fake because you ain't doing this, and it's fake because you ain't doing that. That could go on forever, you know. It's fake because you don't have the sample elements in there, and it's fake because you don't. We can keep doing that, and that's the battle in it. I just want to see, you know, brothers come together, because everything about our music is about tension and war when it comes to rap, mainstream rap, and then even gospel rappers and Christian rappers, you know, be like, man, I put that thing to you in Jesus' name, to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to be some gangster as. You know what I'm saying? But that's I don't. It's just, I guess that's the culture, and we're kind of trying to fight that stigma that black men don't smile, and we don't love our kids, and we don't take care of our families, and we're fighting that. We're fighting that. You know what I'm saying?
That's great thing.
Most of that is in the culture, and a lot of our culture comes from our music, and so you know, like going back to that. I don't care for a brother rap. It's just how you present yourself and how you make me feel. Like how what you
But let
rapping
me
on.
ask you this. Is there a difference than if you're in the studio doing a battle versus if you're in the live auditorium?
Yeah,
You mean at home?
definitely.
Like at home.
If you live,
if you're at Madison Square Garden and you lip sync, and that's a whole different situation.
well, I mean, it depends on how you're set up, because all concerts, most of the times they're rapping over themselves. Matter of fact,
Anyway.
like if they're singing, they're not. Now they're
Okay.
singing, they're not. But if they're rapping, most of the time they're rapping over themselves. Even on the BET Hip Hop Music Awards, they was rapping over themselves.
That's fair.
Okay.
Like they was that's just a part of the culture. The young part, the older guys didn't have that luxury, or they didn't do it like that. When you printing down a master, you do a master, then you do a TV master,
Right.
then you do a instrumental. You know what I'm saying? But most of the guys, they just take the TV master. I mean, they take the master and that's it, and they perform over the master, and then they play the master. So it's the same. That's just the young culture. That's just how they do it nowadays. Not to say that who's right or wrong, because it's just how they make me feel. I seen a dude rap.
You're right.
Rap.
You're
It's
right
just
about that. And it
because
gets me into.
Go ahead.
It gets me into another question, which is, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that what I loved about Jadakiss is that he brought the art of freestyle in the midst of that battle. He kind of like stripped away what was feeling so commercial at that point and really kind of brought down, I think what we're missing sometimes in music is the art and kind of that element of what the lyrical skills that are sometimes missing from the genre.
Just the art form of it. So there's an art form, but then there's a commercial side of this.
That's what I'm saying. He stripped in the middle of that. He just was like, let's strip the commercial down. Let's maybe get to the roots of why we all love hip hop. And I'm gonna do this freestyle, and then let's get back to our normal. But let's kind of like take that commercialness that we're so accustomed to in music, and let's maybe just get back to how hip hop was founded on that just freestyle. This is off of the dome interaction feel.
But then that would mean that he would have had to pass down that tradition. That means there has to be some fathering or mentorship there. So you're complaining about a generation that hasn't been fathered. You're complaining about a generation that didn't have mentors. So how would I supposed to know an art form that I wasn't taught? You see what I'm saying? So we getting on these young cats, but that generation, our generation, the generation before that, it wasn't passed down. So it's like even on gospel, we don't pass down too much.
We don't.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
so
we don't.
We kind of got to get it how we can get it, And so most of the times you get it and you hold on to it, and it's almost like forget those people that came before me because they didn't look out for me. So he's kind of screaming about an art form that the young cats don't know about. You notice most freestylers, they battle rap, but they don't make records.
Right.
Yeah,
they battle rap because they don't make records. So it's a different art form, and it's a different art form to writing commercial records for sale, as opposed to battle rapping and freestyling. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
I tell people I don't freestyle until I charge. I gotta feed my kids.
Well, I want to talk to you about a friend, a young man we just met and were so impressed with, and then we found out he came from your camp over to Lecrae, who you were two people that I love so much, and that's one. And evidently he has been mentored, and he speaks very highly of you. That's 1K Few. Tell us about
Few. Few is awesome. My first day of opening up Free Life, that's the name of our church and movement. It was 1K Few, his mom, his dad, of course my family, a young lady named Riri, and Tonio. And if anybody know Tonio is my hothead. That's always, he loves God with all his heart, but we got to keep him cool.
He's your Peter.
So,
he's your Peter.
He's definitely Peter. And so and Few, I've been knowing him back since he was Future Kid. Back then he was Future Kid, and my kid loved his music when he was coming up, and so they just started coming around. Tonio is actually the one that introduced me to him, and man, he was so hot. So with me, I meet somebody, man, get on the stage, rap, let's go.
Yeah.
And he would travel. Few was with us when we got kicked out of church. Then I recently heard he
You
just got
kicked
kicked
out
out
of
of church.
church.
Oh yeah, Auntie, I tell you, yeah, I got kicked out. Yeah,
Well,
me,
how come
Tony,
you got
yeah,
kicked out of church?
I got kicked out of church because they didn't, I guess they didn't want me to do hip hop or whatever. I didn't know. I started doing God, and then one of his deacons came up there and said no, we don't do that here. So we was doing our thing, and then I was like, okay, well maybe y'all old school. Let's do love song. And I started doing electric slide, something old, not even hip hop. And they still kicked me out. They stopped the music and everything. Like, we don't do that either. And so, yeah, my homies was there with me. Yeah, I'm like, man, hold on, bro. Like, this is not early in my career. This is like after 2 Grammy nods. So this is like, I'm like, man, if y'all knew what I do, why invite me?
Why am I
Like,
here?
why would you do that? Yeah, we just don't do that here. I'm like, yeah, bro, but why invite me? You know what I'm saying? Why invite me here if y'all don't do that? So, and I recently heard that Few got it, well, he had to
He
go back
just
to his
came
hotel.
on. Fuse on.
Oh yeah, Few had to go back to the hotel and get his change his pants or something like that they told me. And I'm like, man, they still messing with us. We trying to do
They
kingdom
still
music. So
messing with y'all.
you get you a little deacon and give him more than 2 keys, then he feel like he can just do whatever to us. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, but he won't do it to the gospel singers or the praise and
No.
worship team, but he just want to do that to us. And it's like, why do we have to feel like, I mean, why do we have to go through that in this genre, knowing our hearts to minister to the people of God? Like, what is wrong? We're still fighting that.
Yes.
So, gospel
That,
rap is back. I see you, Phil.
Yeah, gospel
Yeah.
rap is back.
So
now, what's going on with you? You got all your 4 bars?
My 4 what?
Because
You
you're
can't
going
hear me?
in and out.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can hear you
I
now,
don't
but it
have
was
all
going in and out a
4.
little bit.
I got the 5G thing happen, so I mean, I think I'm good.
Instagram was they were trying to hate on you during the kick.
Really?
That was hot. They were trying to kick you off of Instagram for a second.
That's just, that kind of stuff hurts my heart so much. But that might be why you started your church. I looked at your church. It looks like a nightclub in there to me. I mean, it's a whole different vibe.
It is. It's that swag. But I mean, but if they got their Jesus in lights and in vibe and in all of that, then me, I take God in any type of setting. So for those people, that's the setting that they did. You know what I'm saying? And so most of the times, the first thing that people consider when they go to church is clothes. Like, man, I don't have the clothes. I'm straight. And so we've lost millions of people just on that alone. You notice, the first thing when Adam ate the fruit, the first thing he looked at it was his clothes. And so I think that when it comes to clothes, and when it comes to atmosphere, how many lights are on and how loud is the music, if that's for that culture, then let them rock how they want to rock. Let them worship how they want to worship.
Amen.
And most of it is us against us. Because we ain't gonna go to no white church and tell them to turn the music up and do all this other. We're not gonna do that. What we do is usually leave and just go to what's more comfortable to us. And I'm like, if you don't like the way we worship, then just go to what you're used to. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of my fight. Like, you invite us to minister, then you want to hang us in front of your people to make you seem like you're more powerful. It's just weird to me. Like, why you bring
So you
us?
guys go through all that when you go. You're invited to the churches, and then they treat you like that.
Man, I get pulled back. All right, you can't say this, can't do this now. You can't do this. Can't song number 8 on your record. You can't do that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, why bring me and not let me do me? So free life is basically about that, where people can be free in Jesus. Where most of the stuff that we're condemning people for is not even in the scriptures. And so it's like, man, come on, man. Like, like just let the man do his thing or let the guy worship. You know how it used to be, Auntie Vicki, when you go to church and the girl was she was real fine and she would sit on the front row and they would throw a little sheet over her legs so there won't be a temptation
maybe over
for
her
the pastor.
head.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, man. If your pastor got a lust problem, then y'all need to deal with him. You know what I'm saying? Or if
Exactly.
if the first lady got a problem with this girl being that beautiful, then she got to deal with something in her heart. But this girl came to get Jesus, and y'all set her in the front row. You know what I'm saying? That ain't got nothing to do with it. Or I've seen where the girl look real good, sit on the front row, and then somebody don't look as good in the same outfit. They don't cover her up. So, you know what I'm saying?
What?
So the covering is selective.
No, for real.
And that's not fair. That means
I got laughing. I got laughed
anyway,
once. I got laughed once. I was like,
you got laughed?
I got laughed.
Yeah, because you know my wife is fine. My wife is fine.
Hey, you know I got a question for y'all.
Yeah, I know. So we're gonna get into Vicki's getting messy. So we can ask each other's questions because the new area you guys have moved into, it's not so new, but it's an interesting area. It's relationships.
Yeah.
So we were gonna spend some time doing what we do on the phone. I'm gonna ask you some questions. We can ask you some questions. You can ask us some questions.
Let him go first since he had it.
You want to ask us questions?
Wait. You want to hear me talk to your parents about relationships?
Yes. Hey, I want to hear what you got to say for my own life, and then
okay.
We have a kind of
and I want that man that's searching for my daughter to come and hurry up and find her.
Canton already know. I already put him on the job. I said, bro, I need you to get in their prayer closet for sis.
So what you want, a thug? You want a nerd? What type of dude?
At this point, you know, brother.
Daddy, that's what's up. Daddy say just anybody. All right. So here's my question: how long have you guys been married? This is A and B. How long have you guys been married?
We've been married 40 years.
40 years.
40 years. Okay. 40 years of marriage. Do you guys still have sex?
Absolutely.
Yes. The best way we can.
The best
way. What is that? What is the best way?
That's our business. That's our business. That's our business.
Wait. That's why I was like.
I'm going to explain.
It's undefiled.
I'm explain this. I'll say this. After 40 years of marriage, it's going to change. And that's the thing.
Wait. What's it? What's it's going to change? What it? What
sex,
please?
Sex changes in 40 years of marriage. And so that's why, like I always, every 8 years or so.
Not because of the marriage.
Not because of the marriage.
Because of age.
Well, yeah, you got to be suspicious.
You got to adjust with age.
Yeah. And well, some things. Okay.
Somebody said TMI.
That was her sister.
Okay. So if sex changes, how?
But it feels good. It feels the same way.
But this is the thing. I'm trying.
That doesn't change.
Hey, come on.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead, baby.
Okay.
I'm trying to tell you what it is.
Okay, yeah.
When you're younger, you can do flip flops and acrobatics and all kinds of things. As you get older, especially for a female, now I'll say this for example, there were some things I had to learn. I didn't know that everything turns gray. I didn't, just simple things. I didn't realize.
Somebody say your booty is not the same at 60.
Exactly.
Things are not the same. So you have
wait,
to have
everything
but the booty can't be right.
Everything turns. what you talking about? You talking about everything turns gray, like, you mean like hair?
Hair.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. And somehow I didn't get that. But I don't care if you laser or whatever. If it grows back, it's going to be a certain way. But what I'm trying to say is this. Is that...
Can you dye? Can you dye?
You have to be creative.
Can you dye your hair?
If you're in a marriage for 40 years, you're not going to do things the same way you did them in the beginning. You can't. First of all, you're going to be boring as all get out. And so you have to always look at ways to do things new. Physiologically, things change, because people think you stop having sex. You don't. 70, 60, 70, 80. But you have to look at new things. You have to be creative together. I think the older you get, the more creative actually that you'll get if you really want to keep things going. And so I think that's the big thing. You have to be ready and open to the fact that things aren't going to stay like they did when you're 20.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Or 30.
I mean, I know you got the Viagra pills, like, because I'm only thinking about my perspective. You're talking about
from
older.
a man's perspective.
Like, so you said things change.
Things change in this way, especially.
I mean, your body.
For women, okay, we'll just break it down really well for you. There are some women, for example, as they reach menopause, they'll have problems with lubrication. Okay, so I'm just gonna break it down to you so you understand. So you shaking your head, but when you get,
I mean, I know that's real.
That is real talk. And so many times people don't talk about these kinds of things, and they're shocked and hurt when they occur, or maybe because of the hormones and everything, you may not be as interested all the time as you were before. My sister says dry. Yes, dry.
Oh, that's your sister.
That's my sister. And if you can't, and she says, I can't do the same yoga poses I did 20 years ago. That's my younger sister. And that's exactly right. You may not be able to do all the yoga poses the same way you did before.
Yeah, you can't do Kama Chu till 65 anymore.
Don't say those kind of words.
You're crowd in the backseat.
Okay. Vicki,
I have to watch him.
Yeah, that's what I was like. You told me to ask first. I was like,
yeah,
you're in the back
you're
seat.
right. You're right. And I think
like if that was my mom and dad talking, I'd be like,
obviously, I have to be somewhat used to this for it to just be
I
mean, I'll say this. I think people having conversations about sex and getting information from people is a very important thing.
Especially in the church.
Especially.
I remember one time we had a baby shower, and let me tell you, this one, she was a co-pastor of a church. She brought this lady a beautiful negligee for her wedding, what do you call it, as the gift for the shower. And she took it and just threw it on the floor. And we said, what did you do? She says, because that's where it's going to be all the time in a good marriage. It's going to be on the floor.
Versace on the floor.
But the thing was, let me tell you, some of the young women.
Some of y'all freaking missionaries, boy.
Well, these sisters broke it down because this is what happens. People think in the church that we're like asexual almost, or that we're not sexy beings,
because we don't talk about
it. And they don't want to be Christians because it looks like you're not going to be a full woman and you're not going to be exciting and all of that. Right. So when we had this wedding shower, it was a sexy wedding shower. And believe me, it was all deacons, deaconesses, and first ladies and all that. And we have fun. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things. Oh, there's tennis. That's one of the deaconesses I'm talking about.
Yeah. But everybody don't think, especially teenagers, they don't think that sex is godly. It's a godly idea. They don't think that it's a God thing. And a lot of times it's because we don't share and talk about it across the pulpit. And so that's why that's why I call it free life. We're gonna talk about life, and we're gonna talk about the freedom that we have in Jesus.
Amen.
You know, and so that's good. So that was just the question to you guys. You hadn't asked me a question yet. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Okay.
Y'all are awesome to me. That's awesome.
Well,
That's
I
awesome.
mean, let's talk about, because these are some of the things that concern me, even like pregnancies and things like that. The women just didn't tell you enough, and I didn't know on the second pregnancy, when I had the second baby, it hurt so bad afterwards. Well, my uterus had stretched out more, and so for it to come back in place, it hurt more, but nobody told me. So I was in shock and pain because people weren't talking about it. But I have a question for you.
Can I say?
Oh,
I do want to add to that point because, obviously I'm single, but I've had some friends who were virgins before they were married, and just preparing them for sex for the first time as, sisters in Christ is a whole nother thing about their pH and all the things that are going to change, and being afraid and having to have this mindset of like, no, 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 and then overnight switch it to their body.
Yes.
So how is it?
Conversation that doesn't happen in the church, but shout out to my spiritual sister Tan on here, where I just think those conversations are really important, and they're not always had.
So
I'm having those conversations with right now, all of them. You know, I tell them, sex is awesome. Like we when we were kids, we were taught to stay away from sex. Stay away from sex, stay away from no girls. Nah, that's not reality, and that's not the truth. It's like, man, nah, bro, you have a relationship. It's cool. Just don't have sex to marriage. That's the rule. And so you, you know you know my daughter, I talked about, when you get ready to have kiss, just bring him to me. I want y'all to kiss in front of me. You know, I'm not saying that you can't.
really,
I just want y'all to kiss in front of me for the first time. And have those conversations.
that's interesting.
I have a 12-year-old son. Bro, you talking to a girl yet? You got a girl that you're interested in. And we have that conversation so that it's comfortable, because sometimes when we're told no, 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 no in church, then you're right. It's tough to turn that thing on. Me, I didn't get married as a virgin.
Okay.
I failed at that. And thank God for my wife. She saved herself. Uh, you know, Not till marriage, but for me. And we went through a tough time when I had to admit to her, uh, the number of times I had sex. And so we had to
Right.
reconcile. We had to go through that. That was a tough period, and it was a conversation that we should have had before we got married, but we didn't have that conversation
Right.
till afterwards. And so I think when it comes to sex, when you start talking about it and get the anxiety out the room that it's wrong, like, no, it's right, it's beautiful. And these are the things that you need to be prepared for. These are the things that we need to talk about. I tell my kids this, and I know some people might be offended, but like, y'all think y'all came from y'all mom's stomach. And I'm like, nah. You know where you came from? You came from your daddy's, and then I explained to them where they were before they got into their mom's stomach. So that is me having that conversation, breaking that wall down to let them know, man, look, one day you're gonna desire a woman sexually. That's cool. Just do it in covenant. Do it the right way.
Right.
But man, look, like let's stop saying, the devil didn't make no booty. The devil didn't make no breasts. God created
Right.
that body, buddy. That God, you see that right there? That God made that, bro. That's how good
Yes.
God is. I know
You
she's
say
shaking
you
it.
just say
She might
praise
be,
God.
yeah, she might be shaking it for the devil, but the devil ain't had no hand in that. And so when I start to explain to them the kingdom approach to the creator and who made what and how things were made, then they start saying, oh, okay, I get it, and I understand, and it takes the anxiety away. Well, you know,
Yes.
because what anxiety does is make you creep around. Your body is craving something, but they said I can't have it, and the more they say I can't have it, it feel like I
The
gotta
more
have
you
it.
want it.
You know,
Right.
and so what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, no, you can have it. You just have it in marriage. You prepare, you pray, you think about what you're gonna do, and then when that day comes, you do your thing, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right, right, exactly.
And providing the freedom in it. That's why we call it free life. The freedom in it instead of the anxiety and the
Right.
bondage
The
that's
bondage.
associated. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well, I wanted to ask you a question. There is a lot of talk, especially on Clubhouse right now, about why are Black women not getting married? Why do Black men not desire Black women? They want, they got to be biracial, whatever. And so
Black
there are a
men are
lot of,
just not married.
well, Black men just aren't marrying. What's are you seeing that in your church? What in the world is going on?
well, it is tough. I was blessed to have mom and dad in the home. My wife, um, her parents were married, still are married, and so when you see that, you mimic what you see. So
Right.
I wanted to be married because I saw my mom and dad married to death do us part. They did that literally. I And so if you're in a relationship, you're in a place where your mom is only there and your dad is not there, or they got a divorce, or they were never together, or relationships suck in
Yes.
your family, you tend to carry that trend. Like if my mom wasn't married, she made it, she raised me, then why should I get married? Why should I need somebody else? Why should I be in this covenant if that's what I've been exposed to? That's why somebody has to teach them the word of God. Look, man, this is the benefits of this. And I understand everybody's going to go through certain things, but there's a
Right.
benefit to doing it God's way as opposed to doing it the world's way or your own way.
Right.
There's a reason why. Most of people don't want to get married because of fear, not and some of that fear is not even their own experience. You watched a friend get cheated on, you watched somebody else get
Right.
abused, and then it's like, oh, that's not going to happen to me. And that fear that's taken, God has not given us the spirit of fear but power, love, and sound
Amen.
mind. That
That's
fear is not
right.
coming from God. It's not coming from a godly way. It's coming from the enemy. Those are tricks of the enemy. So when a person is taught, all right, this is how you be married, But here we go again with legacy, Auntie. Nobody's sitting them down to teach
Right.
them
Right.
how to be
Right.
married, why should they be married, how to take care of our kids, and all of that type of stuff. Even in the church, when there's
Right.
supposed to be a fellowship to teach that, no, most of the times it's this big assembly, and then everybody go home. So you
Yeah.
get the you get the word, and that word's supposed to fit what everybody's going through. But if I have a question I can't ask, I can't talk to anybody, we go home. And so that's why I think it's good for forums like this. It's good for
Yeah.
clubhouse forums where people can ask questions, where you guys explain that, yeah, saved people have sex even when you've been married 40 years, and just present a new idea. Most people say ill because they think that kingdom shouldn't be having sex, and that's not true.
Yeah.
It's
That's
That's
not.
not
It's
true.
crazy.
not. That's
And so
crazy.
That's
and so that's why stuff like this is good. And I believe that as we who are married are bold enough to say why we got married and that marriage is good, and once we start explaining that, then I think more people will
yeah.
be more open to at least talking about it. But
Well, you
Well,
know,
see,
nowadays,
modern.
oh, go ahead.
oh no, I was
Nowadays, they
just
would
gonna
rather
say,
have a baby. A girl will walk up to somebody and say, "I want to have a baby with you," before I even get married to you. I like your
Yeah, that's
hair.
just
Let's
a.
yeah,
have a baba'.
It's
And
a.
that's the
yeah.
world
It's
we're
a
I,
living
I
in.
mean,
cultural thing.
I think one of the things is we had a forum. We had a group of about 16 young women, and we were teaching. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And one of the things to start it off was the very first day we found out that half of the women in the class young Christian women had been molested.
Oh.
And so, and that's the truth of what's really going on when you're just starting with this. People have been violated, disrespected. They come in so hurt, you know, that it's hard to even get a really good start on it because, you know, Satan has just come in and torn so many things up. Half of those women had been molested. And so I'm wondering, you know, with all the hurts and the pain, especially in our community, how are you dealing with that? And also this whole concept now, and I know you're going through it in Atlanta where if I'm gonna be with a man, because I can do it all by myself, I have to have a high value man. He's got to make 6 figures. And I'm like, how many Black men are there really out there? I mean, just men, period, are really making 6 figures and over. So where's this whole concept of if he can't pay for all these things for me,
you know, what people see,
then I don't even want to be with them. It doesn't even seem like love's in it. Is what can that person do for me? What do you think about all of that?
It comes from that came from family. That came from what I've come out of, and sometimes that's real life to that person when they have bills and struggles, and you know, most of the times my hands are up because I feel like you're coming to take something from me, you know,
Right.
and so that is the thought pattern instead of somebody that came up with you, you know.
Right.
Most of the times, you know, you're really supposed to be married. Well, I don't even, back in the day, you got married when the person wasn't doing anything, and both of y'all broke, and you navigated together.
Absolutely.
You want somebody that's if you want somebody that's already accomplished, then he's gonna come with a certain value or norms or certain things in his mind based off of what he has that you didn't help with. So then you know he has trust issues if you only want him at that. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
And so the whole thing is, you know, catch me when I have nothing. Me and my wife, we had nothing when we came up.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I
so
had
you
very
know,
little.
it's like you know, and there are people that get divorced and bring two kingdoms together, and both of y'all got money and you know how to do certain things, but you know, is that more of a business than love? Whatever, you know, you got to work it out how you work it out. But if you're just looking for somebody for that support, then you know, I don't know if emotionally you're gonna be tied into that. You're gonna always have trust issues. You're gonna always cheat. You're gonna always you're gonna always find everything in different places. You want a buffet of a man. You want to get this man for this and that man for this and that man for that instead of trusting God to give you everything in one person, or you know, guy or girl. And so I mean, more than that, man, people have to decide if they want to be a male or a female. You know, that's a whole nother. You know, that's a whole nother thing. You know,
No, I mean it's a very real thing, though. It's
Yeah.
a very real.
I wanted to add, your comment, and then I'll
Yeah,
go ahead.
please, because what you talked about something that I would like your opinion on. What I see a lot here and with a lot of my friends is that the men are still not ready to get married because they want to accomplish certain things before they take that step. So even though a lot of us 80 babies were maybe raised in 2-parent homes and we saw family and whatnot, this concept that they have to provide or be at a certain point is where this delay kind of sets in before they will even consider. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So what are your thoughts?
and that's probably what he's hearing. You know, that I don't want no broke man. You know, so it's like, okay, if you don't want no broke man, then you got to wait till I make some money. You know what I'm saying? And that's where your pause is. That's where your break is. But if a woman comes and say, "Bro, I'll take you for you. I love you, and if you fail, I fail with you. If you make it, I'll make it with you. My wife would say, I'm willing to sit in the dark with you in the candle lights. If those are our lights for the
Right.
night, I'm with you. I'm with you. And when she said she was with me, then I was willing to put that woman, I was willing to do whatever to make that woman comfortable.
Whatever.
But if you ain't with me, I ain't with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole
Yeah.
concept of it. It's like, are you willing to take a man because you love him, based, if he has nothing? Are you willing to go on
Right.
through
He
the
has
ups and downs?
nothing.
Everybody wants the ups, but nobody wants the
They
downs.
want
Are
you
you
Nobody
down.
willing?
wants
Do
the
you?
down.
You
In
know what I'm saying?
40 years, you're going to have some downs,
You're gonna have some,
baby.
if you really want true love. True
Yeah.
love is
Go to start.
love is a decision. That thing, it's not a feeling, it's a
That's right.
decision. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
You're right.
so when you say, okay, like, I'm going, let's go all the way with it. I'm
Right.
with you. If we, and so everything I do, I consider my wife, baby. Hey, they asked me to do this tour, but I'm gonna be gone for 3 weeks. You know,
Yeah.
it's some good bread that'll take care of us for a long time, or I can miss that money and be here with you, and these lights be
Right.
off. We gonna eat,
Listen.
but we're gonna have to
Yeah,
split the pizza. You know
You
what I'm
want
saying? But
someone
right.
you can walk life out with.
there you go.
That's what I want. Like when you were asking me what I want a nerd. I don't. That stuff doesn't matter to me. I think someone to walk life out with is the better solution or the better mindset
Always.
for me
But
to
but some
be
women,
with somebody.
some women. I guess some men as well. Like, if somebody, you can have somebody that's really really good, and probably got like a
You
little
speak on this.
lameness to him, like a little lame, just like a little lame spot, like maybe his shoes are not all, he doesn't dress as well, but he loves you.
These are all things that are fine.
but he,
Hey,
but he,
Ken, hey, Ken, I said, not every red flag is a red flag.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he a little nerdy.
Yeah, so not
A little nerdy.
yeah, because there were 5 red flags everywhere. But I was gonna say, and I'm down with what everybody's saying, and I agree completely. I kind of take a little point in this is that I think men are not stepping up to the plate.
Come on, Daddy.
So a woman,
Women are.
when women recognize that a man's not going to step up and commit to her, not just this man, but most men out here aren't going to commit to you, then they have to come up with a backup plan. And so their backup plan is really not the ideal plan at all. And so part of it is, I think, part of the turnaround is men have to step up
Mm.
to make the turnaround. It's on men. It's not on the women. Yes, we can cause it, but as men turn around, then the women are going to come in. Right, they'll
Yeah.
change the picture.
Also,
So
women.
that's my take on that.
Also, I feel like women have to be. The Bible says, "He that findeth a wife findeth the good thing." I feel like you gotta stop playing hide and go seek so well. You gotta be somewhere to be found. You gotta get in
That's
places
right.
so you can be discovered.
Yep.
And sometimes, some of the most beautiful women are in some of the most closed off places.
I agree with that.
That you, if you only go to church, if you only go to church, or you only do this or you only do that, then who's gonna find you? You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
you
and
got to put
see,
yourself somewhere. Now, I'm not saying to go someplace where you're
yeah, not to a
uncomfortable.
club or something, because
You
that's
know
the
what I'm saying?
only option some people think of is, I got to go to a club. If you're not in church, then you're going to the club. But there's a lot of life out there that's not about going to a club, where there are wonderful people.
Yeah, you got to help me on that, because I've been out of the game. I'm getting
Well,
ready
no,
to be
I
She
tell
came
people.
out with some stuff, and I was like, okay, but go ahead, Mom.
What she
No,
say? She wants you to go to like a yoga club or something like that.
Yeah.
I go to yoga.
You're
You're
gonna,
not there.
I'm gonna tell you,
Let
I think like, seriously, this is what I think. There are political campaigns where men and women are. I'm telling you, and there are really great guys there. There are different kinds of clubs. Like, I know you guys are gonna think I'm lame, but there's like.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, there's clubs like. You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
I'm trying to listen.
Reading clubs.
Reading clubs. Horseback race.
I'm not going horseback riding.
Roller skating club.
Roller skating. I mean, there are things you can learn to do that you can meet people.
Where are these clubs that you are talking about? Are you talking about the idea
Social
of people
media.
No, look, there's gardening clubs. Come on, you
Gardening
guys.
clubs.
Well, where are these clubs? Where do you find it?
Karate club.
Yes.
What? The what?
Karate club.
I'm like, but where are you talking about? Classes that you can take?
There are classes, yeah.
You have to be a little bit more specific.
There's classes and stuff you can do. There are other things you can do at your churches.
Like I've seen the singles ministries at churches, and I'm like, ooh.
That ain't it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Where can you go out and meet people?
I've been out the game for a long time.
My mom.
I've been out the game longer than you.
Are you talking about the club that you find on like a Facebook club, or what
no,
are you talking
not
about?
social media, but places where you can go out and do things and volunteer and do work, like working with young people and stuff like that. To some of the people that are over those communities, there are things out there happening in the world or interests. You know, like
you just got to be found. You're right. You just got to be found.
I'm just asking her to be a little bit more specific.
Yeah. Like if you're into cars or
go to the car Sundays,
car shows and
exactly.
And just
but not a club, like
not like dancing clubs, but you know. Come on, there's got to be events and places that you can go to. Somebody said go to Vince alone. Some people said go to Vince alone.
Yeah, fundraisers.
Go to events alone. I mean that's you mean like a concert? Go to a concert with no friends and
I went to a
just...
concert, but I've gone to
big brothers and big sisters. Oh, big they said farmers market.
The farmers market. Fishing, yeah.
These are ideas. Look, you got.
We're coming up with some ideas. I mean, one person I left to fish.
Ronnie, but
the theater.
Okay, let's talk about some things that younger people are doing, because that's the demographic that we're talking about, where people are meeting.
Well, let's get the first couple out of the way.
Golf. Learn to golf.
You can't do the strip club, but that's where they at.
That's where they at.
Yeah.
But golfing, do you know what kind of men you can meet if you're a woman? If you just try to learn to golf and you go out there and you're putting and all that kind of stuff. Men, there are certain places where men love to tell you and show you how to, instruct you on how to hold the clubs and all that kind of stuff.
We have a friend that does that a lot, and so it's worked, and sometimes it doesn't.
Churches have life groups. That's true.
Not black churches. Not black churches.
I just think there's some other suggestions outside of saying that, because some of the things that I think
black bourbon clubs, skating rinks, golfing.
What are some things that people can do during shelter in place or during this pandemic?
Well, they do social media.
Some of the things that I'm just saying, for people who are on here.
Wine tasting, going to the beach, snorkeling. These are the things people are giving us.
Wine tasting is good, but during COVID,
parks,
during COVID, I mean,
live music.
That's right.
There's apps.
Your virtual game got to be on point during COVID.
Your virtual game.
Yeah, but I mean,
bicycling.
Like I don't know how you guys do it, man, because you can meet somebody. And they can have so many filters on, and when you meet them, they look like a totally different person.
It's a whole.
And so it be like woo, like you didn't look like that on your videos. You didn't look like that on your profile. I can't see how y'all.
Somebody said they have Zoom mingles. That sounds good.
Yeah, well, you got a bunch of Zoom.
Wait, somebody said the gym, but they thirsty.
Yeah,
well, everybody's gonna be thirsty.
That's not where you.
Somebody said keep praying. Someone said protest.
Hinge is a good dating site, but
Somebody
I
said
think
Tinder.
I don't think Tinder.
No, there's people who've gotten married from Tinder, especially if you got on some of these sites early. But Hinge is really good.
Well, what do you think about that? Some of these, I heard Tinder wasn't a good place.
Hinge is good. I'm trying to bring us to something current.
Yeah,
Battle box, going out the battle box. I'm down with that.
You guys are married, so why are you talking about areas where y'all haven't even been?
Well, we just trying to
I'm
help.
trying to tell y'all where they're going.
But we've got people.
What is Hinge? What is Hinge?
Hinge is a dating app.
Somebody said act like
It's a really good dating app, though, too.
Yeah, they said, but there's catfishing. There's so much catfishing.
It's a lot of catfishing.
Oh, bring back musicals and revivals. That's true.
Well,
revival, man. Well, I lost my virginity at a church conference.
At the lock-ins. The lock-ins were
those lock-ins aren't so good.
My parents never let me go to the lock-in.
Yeah, they locked you in.
I said if you're gonna be locked in, it's gonna be at home.
They didn't let me do a lot of things. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why you're not married.
Hey, at least I lost to that church though, I guess.
They messed up my early. My dad said you can't date until it was
16.
And then you were like, you're not 16.
Yeah, but you don't have to say this. Parenting. That's a whole nother subject. Parenting.
Yeah.
We passed our time.
Yeah, we passed our time.
You all right for a few more minutes?
Yeah. I'm good.
Okay. Like I told
a revival at the beach. I know that's right. I would love that.
Oh, revival at the beach.
Well, maybe pastors need to work on this kind of thing more.
Yeah, at the lake. For you guys, yeah.
Yeah,
some people, Janice, if dating sites can work.
I keep saying
if you say everybody,
lots of men in college.
Say date all races.
So are you having problems with other races, or you want your black man?
I'm open. I want a black man though. That's just, and it's a little different post 2020 because I was telling my mom, I'm not really into surface conversation. I mean, I'm not going to go in and just lie, but there are some things that you have to just kind of fill out where somebody's headspace is, like simple. Like, so what are your thoughts on getting vaccine, getting vaccinated? Just some of those things with dating right now. Really, because I just want to know how are you handling the pandemic? Are you, well, let me finish. So if you're not comfortable being vaccinated, if you're okay with going from this home to that home and being in and out, I already know that I can't really see you in person too much because that doesn't work out for me. Right. So, but you have to ask some of those questions, and that can be part of the vetting process.
Yeah,
will you date somebody who has kids already?
Oh yeah.
But this is the point. Only 40% of the black community is vaccinated. So if you're wanting to deal with people that are vaccinated, a majority of the black people out there are not vaccinated, including men and women. They're not vaccinated. So that puts a whole. I'm just saying that just puts a limit on dating during this pandemic because they're just not getting vaccinated. Hopefully that will change. But a large majority of our black people in our community are not vaccinated, and they ain't thinking about it. And,
plus, he might just tell you he is, just to make you comfortable.
Let me see your card.
Well, that's what you have to ask.
Somebody said a masculine.
I left it at the house.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's why you have to ask some questions to say like
people
how
that cough a lot.
No, because I know some people are some situations where the guy was talking to this person, but he was trying to shelter in place with somebody else, and so that just it's almost
he's sheltering in place. He's single.
It's the same concept.
I'm trying to understand.
It's the same. People are not being responsible with their bodies, so you have to just ask some questions to figure how they are navigating in the streets.
You talking about the vaccine? It's people that just having loose sex.
That's what I'm saying. It's to me, it's like. You got to ask some of these questions just to kind of see how comfortable you are. I mean, just to vent some things out.
But see, I think that the church should be the place where people can go meet other people and do things. It should be a place where people want to go to meet quality people, but it's not.
So that's why you go back to how free life is. Lights down. It got a swag to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that people
Amen.
so that we can do more than just preach and sing, but there's a setting for people to talk and find out that, oh man, you funny, you cool, you know, there's something different about you that, you know, because if that setting hasn't been offered in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's been a monologue setting most of the times where you know, pastors preaching, or y'all want me to come back to some singles thing. Well, most of the singles are kind of divorced, or their husband or wife has passed away, so they're a little older, and then you got young people who are single, and it's like this is not working because we're not on the same vibe. And so that is why those things should be offered in the kingdom, so that we don't have to look outside. You know, we should have the dopest hookup situation in the
Right.
church.
We
You know
don't.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, somebody's saying church is enough. It should be is not a safe place for most people anymore.
It's not. It's just not.
That's deep, but that's true.
It's not.
It's a shame.
But it can be. We can.
It can be.
It can be.
Yeah,
Right.
it can be.
It can be.
It'll be like,
Yeah.
because I tell people, look, man, it's a lot of people that's crazy in here that's gonna tell you that they love God and they're gonna sleep with you. All right, I'm telling on them, ladies. I'm telling on them, and I'm that type. I type to get a game up. Like, look, bro, you know, if you saw him dating this other girl, then don't let him do this hallelujah stuff in front of you and you be naive and fall for it.
Accountability.
Yeah. So, but I tell on them. I tell them.
You need a Mufasa to the Simba in the church structure. You just need it. It's I just feel like that, and I think it kind of goes back to this kind of theme that you've been talking about as far as accountability and mentorship. It's almost like you had the Moses to Aaron, and then after Aaron, there was no mentoring in this new season. And so we have all these kind of young men going in different ways, and there's nobody who's passed down that mentoring down to the culture. So accountability just in social media in and of itself, I think with like the babies and the Trey songs, it's the same kind of mindset where it's just like, I can say and do whatever I want. And as soon as you bring any kind of level of accountability to them, then it's this kind of like temper tantrum. Yeah, you're doing this to me. You're done. And that's, I think, just across the board when you even bring it down to like any type of like relational structure. There's no accountability, and you don't have other grown men who are married men coming down to these single guys and saying like, yo, I see you with her, and her. Why do you think that's okay? There's just kind of like, oh, that's his business. Oh, you know, I don't want to get involved. And there's this really bad culture with dating in the church, and nobody's saying nothing.
Well, Canton, someone asked a question. I couldn't see who it was, but they said, what do you think about gospel artists who do a lot of touring without their wives? That's an interesting question.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the body. You're gonna want some every 2 or 3 days, some every day. So you have to have that figured out, like what you're gonna do. I tell people you need to think ahead of time about what you're gonna do when you get hungry, horny, or angry. You need to know what you're gonna do ahead of time, because once you get horny, you might hit anything. Once you get hungry, you might eat anything, and once you get angry, you might slap them. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have those things figured out in your head before it comes to that point. So when you go on tour, you already know that situation is going to happen. You're going to feel that way, all right? And so you need to have that plan out, man. Hey, bro, I'm going to the hotel. Take me a shower. I need to do, baby. I need you to, you know, we got FaceTime. Girl, I need you to do that dance you do. Do the dance, girl. Do the dance. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Have that worked out before, because you're talking about a lengthy tour. You know, you're tempting yourself. You know, you got dancers, you got singers, you got single
That's
women,
rough
single
on the
men.
road.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you got to be able to have have that thing worked out before you go, or bring your wife. You got to bring your wife.
Yeah. Now with me,
or
I
baby,
used
you
to
got to meet
travel
me in
with
Cleveland. My wife got
Right.
to meet me every 4 days. She got to meet me for conjugal visits. You know what I'm saying? We got to have it done. That got to be in the budget. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to have me. I got to have it. It got to happen.
That's in your writing.
That's in the budget. I got to get it. I got to have mine. So y'all got to fly my wife to Cleveland. Y'all, I need to see her in Miami. I need to see her. Yeah, it's got to happen.
You're right.
You know, and
you're right. I'm saying with me, I used to, for many, many years, when we first got married, I traveled with my father. My father, mostly it was my dad who traveled with me, because I had an incident early on where somebody was, and I said, I can't have this. What do we want to do? And that's when we decided your dad travels with you.
Bringing your daddy along to keep everything be like, yeah, oh daddy.
And I just didn't have to worry about that, because I had to go out and work. And I said, now this works, but you're right. You need to understand ahead of time. You need to have talks about it to make this thing work. Yeah, we could talk forever. This has been incredible.
I got to come back and do another one.
So fast.
Yeah, so we're going to have a part 2.
Let's do it.
We still have a lot to talk.
Yeah, we got like half the questions we haven't even gone over.
Got into the deep end. Got into the question.
I think we got stuck on y'all having sex at 40 years in the marriage. I think that's the
40 years.
40 years of marriage.
Does it give you hope, though? Does it give you hope?
Hey, brother.
It does.
Brother, if you call us privately, I can tell you some of our creative secrets.
Yeah, hey, you talking about everything go great.
Hey, hit me up in the DMs.
Not in the DM. We don't need nothing in writing.
I don't know nothing about this thing.
We just talking. But we just love you and your wife and your whole family so much. I think we're going to have to do this about once every other month or something. It seems like everybody really enjoyed it.
Yeah, he talks about it like real. I'm like,
real.
We might need to bring people in to have questions.
Yeah, we probably can bring a couple people
in. Yeah, I think that might be good.
I'm with it.
But tell us about your show, because you tell us about your church and the show you do and all that, so people can know.
So we got a show that we do every week called In the Booth with Canton Jones and Messenger, where we just talking about issues like this right here. I think this is just a new way of really teaching and preaching. This is the new wave. Having conversations. A lot of times people have so many questions during a monologue preaching, which I still do, but I want to come on and just answer questions and talk to people on all different levels. So we do that, and then you can follow us, Free Life Experience, and I do teach once a week. I'm getting back into music. I got a new goal that I set, that I want to do some type of video recording of every song I've ever written, which is so I might just come on and just sing, whether I sit in the car and sing it, whether I do a major video or maybe do a live rendition. I got to go all the way back to my first record and just start doing live renditions of my songs. And so that's a challenge. I've released a lot of records. That's a lot of songs.
I know.
And so just be looking forward to it. Some of them won't be as clean as others, but I just want to get it out to let people hear the music a lot more. Yes. And then I'm getting ready. I think this is the time where I need y'all again. Uncle Vicki, Uncle Claude, because I'm getting ready to get back into this music grind. I feel like I got more, more time. When my babies are releasing music and daddy's not, So
he's
yeah.
dropping music, man. He's just dropping it. He might feature you in a couple.
He did. He did. That I need you to get on this track. and then I mix for them. And they come in, Daddy, did you mix my song? Like, man, you better take all that bass out your voice, bro. Did I mix your song? So my house is very active, and so be praying for us, man. I'm really committing to virtual church. I know a lot of people are trying to get back to church as usual, but I feel like this right here is church for a lot of people getting wisdom, and I'm committing to just doing it a different way. So I've always been out the box, but I'm getting ready to get outside of the box that's out the box. So great. But I can't wait to get back on with you guys because I got to ask some more questions.
Please.
Yeah. And we like to come on your thing in the booth too with you sometime if you want to. If you want us to.
Yes, I will set it up.
Well, we enjoyed it. I mean, the people really have been communicated. And somebody said, we need you, Lecrae, the truth, because that's the foundation. So that was good. But thank you so much. We're going to let you go. I know you're trying to eat your Subway.
They got it, man. They're sitting out there.
So we love you, and we'll be talking soon.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See you later.
Yeah.
Hello.
What's up?
Thank you so much for watching Carfitable Talks.
Thank you.
Please remember to press that like button, and we need you to subscribe. And also,
leave some comments. We really need to hear from you.
Thank you.